Hi, welcome back. So I'm out and about today. I decided that I really didn't want to do anything at all today except lie in bed and just hide away from the world, but I've come to understand the more I give in to that, the more it's going to happen, and I'm not going to get anywhere and not get anything done. With me, it's always been a joy to be in the garden, and the sad thing is that I go through stages. When I'm well, I look after my garden and it's full of beauty and full of colour and just health. But when I'm not well, it's the one thing that I neglect altogether. So if you have a look around, you can see that there's grass growing out of where it shouldn't be. There's half-dead plants. Have a look down there. There's half-dead plants. There's things all over the place. And if you come with me, I'm actually lucky today. My son's doing the filming for me, which is really nice of him. Thanks, Josh. Anyway, if you have a look, it's all dead. It's all half dead. Because I water it once in a while. I bought new plants. At least I put them into the pots, but they really need to be watered. And yeah. These here, all new plants that I have gotten to try and make a difference to actually boost up my garden, and they're still in here and they should have been planted already. These azaleas, another story, beautiful, beautiful flowers, but they should be probably this big by now, like probably at least 1 metre tall. But it's sort of like, as I said, and I don't want my garden to dictate me anymore. I want to show my love of my garden to my garden so that it ends up being really, like a garden should be, full of beauty and not just sparsely decorated with bits and pieces, so it sort of looks like. Because I've decided that the only way that I can win against my battle, or against my foe, is to actually make a difference and do. This is a fight. We fight every day I fight every day just to make it through every day. And a lot of the times I give in to the emotions or the feelings. Feeling yuck, I'd just rather sit around and in my room, in my little cave. But that's not going to help me to do anything except get darker and get more empty. So anyway, I'll see you all guys shortly. I'll just do a bit of more of this, I'll actually do this gardening, and I'll catch up with you guys shortly, okay? Have an awesome day. Talk to you soon. Bye. Gardening done, which was my purpose for at least today, was to do something. It's what I'm focusing on from here on in, no matter how horrible I feel, is to do something, even if it's for 5 minutes, but to do it, because the only way that I'm going to be able to keep moving forward is to do, no matter how I feel. So I got a little bit done. Hopefully, as the days and weeks go along, I'll be able to sort of bring my garden back to the glory that it should be. But the thing is, if I don't keep moving forward, I'm going to end up exactly where I was before, and just lost in myself somewhere. And I can't sort of do that anymore, because it's like that saying, you keep doing what you do, you'll keep getting the same results, and I don't want the results anymore. I have to keep battling, and I don't mean that as a chore, but I have to keep pushing and fighting to get to where I want to be, because I've spent too much of my life trying to I don't know, probably trying and then failing and then, or not even failing, I hate that word, trying and then not getting to where I wanted to be. I've always been a black and white thinker, so if I try this, then this should happen, and when it doesn't, I become really self-abusive and start carrying on at me, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to see my achievement. So my achievement for this day was to plant some plants and do some gardening, and I achieved that, so one tick for me. The problem with me has always been that I try to connect an event to the feelings that I'm having. So if I feel really yuck, I'm trying to understand in my head why I feel yuck. And what happens then if I can't find the reason for it, then it doesn't make sense. And then I go into this deeper, darker space, because my life has to make sense. Everything has to have a reason. And quite often, there isn't always a reason for anything. It just is because it is. And I have to learn to just accept, because if I don't, then my mind creates scenarios and answers, and most of the time the answer isn't even real. Like, my mind makes up things, and so I become more and more stressed, or more and more sad, or more and more something, purely because my subconscious has decided to put that scenario in place, because better an answer than none. And to learn that I don't have to have an answer for everything. You know, someone told me that I have to be in control, or because I was trying to make sure everything's all right with everybody all the time. And I tried to explain to them that I think because I feel so out of control with my own mind, that I try and make everything around me okay, so that nobody else has to experience the things that I do, even though sometimes in a different time it's okay to feel those things. My head keeps making things bigger than it should be, and yet I can't see that at the time. So, you know, these things, all these tools that they give you, you know, to stop, think and go, and like you're supposed to stop and think about it. Well, when I'm in that place, it's the last thing I think about. And this is why we're supposed to practice these things when we're well, so that when the time comes, it's actually there and it's just automatic. And I know that, I'm telling you that, but I sort of don't practice it myself. So the thing is that this time I'm more determined than I've ever been to learn how to live, to not just exist, because that's what I've done my whole life. I've just made it from day to day and pushed sometimes when I didn't want to push, but you know, just to get through the day. I'd get up in the morning and wait for the night to come because I didn't want to have to deal with the day. I know it's a big journey, but the alternatives are staying stuck in my perceived world, and that's all it is. It's a perceived world. The things that are real are the bed, the machine, the camera, flesh and bone. A lot of the times my thoughts they're not real. And so now I've told myself that I need to start doing the work to get to a different place. I need to experience things personally, because as much as this illness has an abundance of patience, it's still a really personal journey, and only I can make the changes that I need to make, because if I don't, then, as I keep saying, if I don't, I keep being stuck exactly where I was. And although I'm feeling weak at the moment, I also need to keep pushing. I need to face this battle head on, because doing that will strengthen my resolve, and it'll also make my mind stronger to be mentally fit to fight any of these scenarios the next time they show up. So I wrote down on a piece of paper what I wanted to say. Actually, I've sort of been doing dot notes lately just so that I can remember, because a lot of the times I want to say these things and they just come out of my mouth stupid or... No, stupid, don't use stupid. They come out of my mouth differently to how I wanted them to. And then I get annoyed with myself. And the more I can do to stop finding reasons to abuse myself, the more I'm going to notice my achievements. So one thing I wrote, only I can make this change. Only I can make this better. That's change the outcome, change the perception. I'm the only one that can make that change for me. Change is scary, but so is living as I do. And I wrote that down because that's how it came out of my head. Because for me, change has been horrendous my whole life. Anything, even if you were to organise us to have a coffee date and you didn't give me enough notice that you weren't coming, then I would go through all of these scenarios in my head that would obviously lead to I call it abuse. I don't know, like, obviously I've done something wrong, I've said something wrong, like, what have I done? Trying to find my fault in this. And it's not conducive to be a well person, because not everything is my fault. Logically, I can't be the fault or the blame for everything. So changing the way that I perceive things is going to be a hard thing. But again, if I want to make any progress in my remaining years, because this isn't just colour, this is actually grey hair, which means I'm getting on in years. I don't want to spend the rest of my time the way I've spent this last lot of my life. I've come to realise that I need to start making memories, to start doing things for me the way that I want to do them, and no matter how off track they are, no matter how weird they may seem to anyone else, I don't want anything stopping me anymore, least of all me, because I'm the only one that's stopped myself in all these years. Always made excuses for why I can't do things or why I shouldn't do things. Like, never been on a cruise, been on a couple of trips, but never on my own volition, and been fearful, always being fearful of doing things, and no real reason why I'm fearful. But if I have new things in my head, if I have new memories, if I make new memories, I'm organising my passport so that I can go on a cruise. It's something I've thought about, but I've actually got the paperwork, and it's a big deal for me. So if I start making new memories, like fun, exciting, happy memories, then when I have my down moments, my head will allow me, or it'll have different things, like it'll actually have things to think about other than the thoughts, the self-loathing thoughts, all of those things, all the things that my mind skips to all the time when I'm feeling down. I can think about something other than. One of the things that I've just done recently, goes along the same lines as the garden, but sort of different, is this. So I've been doing this since April. Okay, I started it in April. Now, along the way, there were some moments, many moments, where I was just going to give it up and stop, which is my normal thing, because something doesn't look right, or I'm scared to try it because it's new, and it won't, if I make it and it doesn't look like it did in the video, then I don't really have the right to make it, because if I'm going to copy someone, then I should be giving honour to them, so to speak. Reality is, I don't know anybody anything. I like the look, I love the pattern. There's no right or wrong. If we try, there's no failure. If we try, there's no negative, because if you try, then it's a positive thing, because you have tried. You haven't just thought, but you've actually done. And so this, for me, from here on in, is going to be a symbol of, well, like, you didn't give up. I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I finished it. And I'm accepting of the fact that it's not perfect, but I finished it. And if I can do this, if I can persist with the hard yards in this, if I can persist with not having perfection, then I can put that into all areas of my life. I don't have to be okay all the time. I don't have to be a good person all the time. I can just be who I am, because who I am is good enough. And I know that sounds like one of those cliches that they use, but I wouldn't be here if I wasn't supposed to be. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't keep doing things, like I don't even know if that's true. But the fact is, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep, this will be a constant reminder to me that you got this. You can do this. And no matter what else is going on in that little head of yours, big buff head, whatever, it's all right, because this is real. This is truth. This is tangible. My thoughts aren't. So I think I need to start opening my mind to the fact that it's okay. It's all right. It doesn't matter how long it takes me. It doesn't matter whether it's not exactly as other people might think it is. Although, the strange thing is, I've never cared about what other people thought, because I think that I demean and damage myself more than I think anybody else could even imagine doing to me. And I need to stop that. I need to stop damaging myself. And so I think the whole purpose of this video was to just urge you to keep trying, to push past your thoughts, because they're not even real. They're just thoughts, and a thought can be changed. And if you can change a thought, then you can change if you can change a thought, then you can change the action that comes along with the thought, or the behaviours that usually result from that thought. And yeah, it's damn hard, and sometimes, I want to give up, but I want to live out the rest of my life in peace, doing what I want to do, and not questioning myself and my values anymore, or my value anymore. So just try to have more faith and belief in you, that you've got this, and it's going to be hard, but it's so worth it in the end. I think it's going to be worth it in the end. When I can stand on that mountaintop and shout out to the world that Krista's okay, and believe it, then the journey will have been worth it, and the fight will have been worth it. So until next time, guys, remember to breathe, remember to smile, and always remember you. Love you guys. See ya.